Hello, welcome to the video. My name is Freeman from the STRAKS development team, and today I'm going to show you how to install the STRAKS Point of Sale system for macOS. So STRAKS Point of Sale runs on Python 3, and by default Macs only support Python 2. So in order to run STRAKS Point of Sale, we first have to update the Python version in Mac. There's a lot of different guides on the internet that can show you how to do this. One very useful one that I myself have used is called the Hitchhiker's Guide to Python. So here they'll give you a rundown of how to install what's called brew, and then also how to install Python 3 and have it run alongside of Python 2 on Mac. So I'll put this link in the description. If you don't yet have Python 3, go ahead and follow this guide and then come back to the video and we'll continue the installation. So right now I'm on the STRAKS GitHub or the STRAKS POS GitHub page. If you scroll down to the installation section, it says the easiest way to install STRAKS Point of Sale is using what's called as pip. So if you follow the instructions in this tutorial, you will have a command on your Mac called pip, and that is used to download Python packages onto your Mac. So let's just follow these instructions. Now, because Mac is going to have both Python 2 and 3, we have to specify the version of pip that we want to use. So in this case, we're going to type pip3 install STRAKS POS. And depending on the permissions you have on your computer, you may or may not have to prepend this with a sudo command. So if you're getting a permission denied error, go ahead and put the sudo before. So what it's going to do now is go out and grab all of the different dependencies that it needs to run STRAKS Point of Sale. So it should say at the bottom, successfully installed STRAKS POS. I'm going to hit Control L to clear my screen. And now STRAKS Point of Sale is installed on our computer. So in order to run it, all we have to do is type the command STRAKS POS. And the first time you run STRAKS Point of Sale, it's going to give you this interactive guide that's going to help you set it up. So before you can actually start using the system, you have to give it either a number of different STRAKS addresses, or you have to give it what's called an extended public key. So the STRAKS addresses, if you just apply them manually, they'll be used to give the customer as the sending address for their transaction. If you use an extended public key, what that can do is actually generate any number of STRAKS addresses which all tie back to the same wallet. So you don't have to worry about individually specifying addresses. You can just add this one extended public key and it will be able to create as many addresses as you need. So I'll show you how to do both these things, but before we begin, as a merchant, you're going to need a wallet to store all of the STRAKS that you receive. So my recommendation is to use the STRAKS Electrum wallet. And if you don't know how to install it, if you don't have it installed on Mac yet, there's another video which I'll link to in the description which can show you how to install it on your computer. But once you have that installed, go ahead and open your STRAKS Electrum wallet. And if you watched the installation video, you should have a wallet set up. So go ahead and enter the password for that. And you should have access to your wallet now. So what we need to do now is supply the point of sale system with addresses or an extended public key from our wallet. So if you go over to the addresses tab, and if you can't see the addresses tab, go up to view and hit show addresses. And this will generate a list of addresses that you can use that all tie back to this wallet. So no matter which address in this list you send funds to, they'll all end up in this specific wallet. So if I go ahead and enter one at this prompt, it'll ask me to start inputting different STRAKS addresses. So what I can do is go back over to my wallet and just copy a few of these different addresses into this. So depending on how many concurrent customers you want to be able to check out, that's how many different addresses you're going to need. So let's say you're checking 5 people out at the same time, you're going to need to specify 5 unique addresses. Now, the way to get around that limitation is by using the extended public key, because with the extended public key, as I'll show you, it can generate any number of addresses. So you just have to supply the one key and it will be able to create addresses dynamically. So you enter in a couple addresses. Let's say you do something wrong, it'll let you know that it's an invalid address. So let's copy one more. And then when you're done, you can hit the Q key and press enter. Now I'm not going to press enter just yet because when you press enter, what will happen is the STRAKS point of sale will take these addresses that you've inputted. It will then write a config file, and then it'll start up the server. But what I want to show you is not the manual address entry. I also want to show you the extended public key. So I'm going to go ahead and restart the server, and I'll show you how to do the extended public key. So if you click 2, it'll then ask you to import your extended public key. The way you can retrieve this is by going to your Electrum wallet, going to the top wallet information, and then this key in the box here is your extended public key. Now it's best not to share this with anyone. Just put it in the program, and then yeah, you can leave it alone after that. So go ahead and paste it in there, and if I click enter, what will happen is it says it's creating a STRAKS POS configuration file in my home directory in a folder called .straks POS. And what it did is it added the extended public key into the configuration. So, and it also started the server. So let's go take a look at this configuration file that it created. So if I go ahead and open up a new tab, what I'm going to do is navigate in the terminal to the configuration file that it just created. So it said it was in my home directory. So if I type cd, this key, and then slash, I can access my home directory. Now, it said it stored it in a folder called .straks POS. So I'm going to type .straks POS, and I'm going to hit enter. So if we look at the files in this folder, you can see that the STRAKS POS config file is in here. So let's go ahead and take a look at that file. And I'm going to go all the way to the bottom, and let me make this a little bit bigger. And as you can see, at the bottom of the file, the STRAKS POS took the extended public key that we gave it, and it put it at the end. Now, if you were to enter in the manual addresses, it would have created a number of different address equals keys and also placed them at the bottom of this file. So either way, this is how it happens. Now, this file is the main STRAKS POS configuration. So I'm just going to go through this really quick, and I'll show you some of the important points and some of the things that you can change if you want to modify how the system operates. So the first is the currencies that it accepts. So these will be the fiat currencies, and if you look at the line below this one, you can see all the ones that are supported. So pick and choose which ones you want to support, and you can add them to the currency line. If we scroll down, the other important one is tax rate. So depending on if this number is positive or negative, will determine if you can add a discount or a tax rate to the purchase. So if you wanted to, for example, add a 6% tax rate, you can go ahead and type 6.0, or if you wanted to be able to give customers a 10% discount, you could type -10. I'll just leave it at 0 for now. If we keep scrolling down, the other one that's important is port. So this will determine what port the server runs on, and you could change that if you want. You can also set the label. So this is what will show up on the main screen, and you can change it to your company name or whatever you want. If we scroll down a little more, you can see the allowed IP addresses. So this will allow you to specify which IP addresses can use this point of sale system. Right now it's set to 0000. That means anyone can access it, but you can shut this down to your subnet range or a specific IP address that you know is going to be accessing the server. In this section, you can set the SMTP information if you want to support the email sending. And then if we scroll down, there's a section in here where you can specify a custom exchange or data source. And then if we scroll all the way down, you'll see that this is where we're storing the addresses. So sort of a quick rundown of the config file. Feel free to look around. There's comments for pretty much all the values. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and quit out of this. And now if we go back to our server, it said that STRAKS POS was running on port 8080. So what I'm going to do now is go to my web browser, and I'm going to, now there's a couple different ways you can access this. One is you can access it through the localhost. So the localhost address is 127.0.0.1, and if I put the port 8080 after that, and I click enter, you'll see that it loads the STRAKS POS. Now, using localhost, you'll only be able to access from this computer. But if you want to be able to access it from other computers on the network, you're going to need to get the IP address of the computer that you're on. So the way you can do that is if you go to a new terminal and you type ifconfig, this will bring up a list of all of the different IP addresses and network interfaces on your computer. You're going to need to scroll through here and find the interface that you're using. In my case, it's EN0. and you're going to want to copy this address right after it says INET. So this is going to be your local IP address on the network that you're currently on. So if you open up a new tab, and if we go to that IP address with the 8080 after it, you can see that we load up the STRAKS point of sale. So this is how you get access to the point of sale once it's running on your computer. Then you can click Get Started, and you can do all of the functionality that the POS supports. So you can create new invoices, etc. Now, if you notice, when I created an invoice, it was able to generate a new address for the customer to send to. And if you send funds to this address, it will be automatically routed into the Electrum Stack wallet. So, and the cool thing is, if you create a couple more invoices, you'll notice that the addresses on each of these invoices are different. And that's because of the extended public key that we provided. So with that extended public key, it can generate as many addresses as you need, and they'll always be different, which is best practice as far as security is concerned with transacting cryptocurrency. So that sums it up for how to set up STRAKS POS on Mac. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, or you can hop on our Discord channel. My name's Freeman on there. You can hit me up, or you can hit up any of the other team members. So thank you very much, and have a great day.